Greetings everybody, Ben here from The Virtual Economist, and today I'm going to talk about a trading topic that I think a lot of you guys have huge misconceptions about, and that topic is the fall of the earbuds. One goal of this channel for me is to say things that need to be said that are not being said, and I feel like a lot of people are really misinformed about earbuds in the TF2 economy, what they were and what they are now. So, in this video, I'm going to talk about the history and the fall of the earbuds to try to get rid of any crazy misconceptions that you might have. So, I bet you're wondering, well, Ben, what is the fall of the buds? And if you're new to TF2 or the trading scene, you might not actually be aware of the difference between what earbuds once were to the economy and what they are now. In short, buds used to be the bread and butter of high-tier trading and were worth anywhere from 12 to even 30 keys being used as a currency. Now they struggle to even reach 3 keys in value. To be honest, I think everyone seems to understand that, but I swear that far too many people really don't know why it happened, and fewer know why the depreciation of buds was actually, wait for it, a good thing. I know it's called the fall of buds by many, but it is actually a good thing? What? To explain what happened, let's go all the way back to June of 2010 when buds were first introduced in the Mac update. During that update, anyone who logged into TF2 on a Mac was awarded a set of earbuds. Wow! And in total, around 80,000 were given out. After the Manconomy update came out later that year, people of the time started to realize that they needed a currency worth far more than a key to help facilitate trading of new high-tier items. Because let's face it, keys are really not worth that much, they're only worth $2.50. So, buds were chosen to be that high-tier expensive currency, and I think that they were a good choice. Buds worked well because they were a promo item with a limited number in existence, so a new update couldn't just re-release them and flood the market and reduce the price. So, over time, earbuds started to sell for ridiculously high prices, sometimes as much as 30 keys. Don't get me wrong, I definitely think this was a good idea. It made trading expensive stuff actually possible, especially back in the day when traders couldn't trade more than 8 items in the in-game trade window. Yeah, that was actually a thing, you couldn't trade more than 8 items. Fortunately, that trading system was removed by 2011, and from then on it looked like all trading was working pretty well. However, there was one big downside to using buds as currency, and that came along when websites started recording the prices of unusuals, specifically the infamous backpack.tf. I know that some people think that backpack.tf was somehow like the death of trading or some messed up crap like that, but honestly, I have nothing against them. They do a great job recording all the prices, and they really do facilitate trading. However, I do believe that backpack.tf made one big mistake in the handling of earbuds. Now, this is my opinion. I know that not everybody in the trading community agrees with this 100%, but I really do believe that this was a big mistake. And the mistake that backpack.tf made was that they allowed items to be priced on backpack.tf in the currency of buds. Which, that basically means that if I were going to sell a hat for, let's say, 1 bud and it sold for 1 bud, then somebody could create a price suggestion of a hat being worth 1 bud, which it makes a lot of sense, right? If the hat sold for 1 bud, it would be worth 1 bud, right? Well, not exactly. Remember, earbuds are priced in keys on backpack.tf. I've talked about this a little bit before, but keys are actually very, very awesome in that the value of them is intrinsic. They're always going to be around $2.50 in value, so you really don't have to worry about their value fluctuating up and down a lot. But the problem with buds is that they are priced in keys, and that means that their price is going to fluctuate a little bit like the key to refined ratio. And, that means that sometimes buds might be worth 27 keys, and then the next day they might be worth 22 keys. And since unusuals were priced in the currency of buds on backpack.tf, that meant that the monetary value of your hats would constantly change. Thus, if you were inactive and never made a single trade for, let's say, 2 months, but you went ahead and checked your backpack value on backpack.tf, you would notice it would randomly go up and then randomly go down. And for a very inactive player, that really makes no sense. If there hasn't been a price suggestion to lower or raise a hat, why would it randomly be going up or down in value? I just think there's really no point to that, and really just pricing unusuals and buds really just causes an unnecessary problem. I know some people are probably going to try to defend this saying, well, this is like a real life currency. Real life currencies go up and down, and you really just have to work with it. And my response to that is, well, we don't necessarily have to have that problem if we price everything in keys, not earbuds. There's really no point in having a stupid problem when you can just easily fix it. So, in short, I do believe that high-tier items should be priced in keys, a very stable currency, opposed to buds, which are very volatile and fluctuate randomly. But alas, Backpack.tf chose to price high-tier items in the currency of buds. And honestly, it wound up working out pretty well. There wasn't really any big problems with it because buds changed in value very slowly, so there wasn't any times where your backpack value would just tank in half or anything. It usually was pretty stable. That was until March of 2015. In early 2015, buds were definitely on a downward turn, and they were slowly losing value. Keep in mind, this was actually something that was pretty common. Sometimes buds would be on an upward trend, gaining value over time, and other times buds would be on a downward trend and would slowly lose value. And this just seemed like an average downward trend. That was until buds reached a record low of around 10 keys. Unfortunately, the community has only itself to blame for what happened next. People started freaking out. Buds had never been as low as 10 keys, and due to the fluctuating nature of buds, people's backpacks started to lose value. And you know what makes people freak out beyond anything else? The thought of losing money. And naturally, people got really nervous. The depreciation didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, and people started undercutting the lowest seller on Backpack.tf quite rapidly. In effect, this wound up snowballing into a giant panic sell where people started selling buds as fast as they possibly could. No one wanted buds anymore, and everyone wanted pure keys and quick. And as you can imagine, all this did was worsen the entire scenario by 1000%. Suddenly, an item that had become a very desired currency was quickly becoming a very undesired item. Everyone was hedging their bets, and no one wanted to be stuck with an item that might just be utterly worthless in a few weeks. By the time buds had reached 8 keys, I'm pretty sure that everybody had just given up all hope on buds recovering altogether. Remember what I said about unusuals being priced in buds? Well, just look at this actual footage of your backpack value. Oh, sorry, this is it. So, the Backpack.tf admins got together and realized that, hey, there was a giant problem here. Buds, which were pricing everything on the site, were now super devaluated, and everything on the site was just nothing. I know some people like to describe the entire bud fiasco as a giant economy crash, and right here I really can see where they're getting at. I don't really think it was an economy crash, but right here I really get what they're saying. Suddenly, everybody's backpack values were almost half of what they were before, and that's a huge difference. The thing is though, let's be honest, the real reason this happened was because Backpack.tf priced high-tier items in the currency of buds. This was the problem. If all unusuals had been priced in keys in the first place, well then, who the frick cares when buds tank, because all your items are still worth what they're worth, and suddenly people don't start panicking over nothing. Fortunately, the Backpack.tf admins saw what was happening and assessed the scenario in a very good way and made a very good decision about the future of earbuds, and that was actually to discontinue them as an official currency. I know some people really wanted to see a solution that would recover the price of earbuds, but unfortunately that really just wasn't feasible. Really because nobody wanted to stop panic selling. I think all the smart traders knew that everybody needed to stop selling, but nobody listened. People just kept panic selling till buds dropped from 8 to 7 to 6 keys, and they really just screwed themselves over. If people as a whole really wanted to see buds recover, they would have stopped selling and really just waited it out to see if they would. But unfortunately, no one stopped selling, putting that solution clear off the table. So, the solution that remained was to discontinue buds as an official form of currency. And I truly believe that that was the best decision that Backpack.tf has ever made. With buds no longer as a currency, unusuals and other high-tier items had to be replaced with another currency. And what other options did they have? Keys, just what I had been advocating the entire time. Remember, like I said, the value of keys is intrinsic, meaning that suddenly your unusuals, if priced in keys, will not randomly go up or down in value like they would be if they would be priced in buds. This is just a very good decision, and I'm so happy that Backpack.tf came to this solution. And honestly, that is pretty much where we are today. Buds are no longer a currency, and honestly, that is a very good thing. I know a lot of people are nostalgic of the past, but quite honestly, this was a very good thing for the community. No longer do we have to deal with an arbitrarily priced currency dictating the values of items. If anything, this should have been changed far before buds became as volatile as they became. Don't get me wrong, I definitely think that a higher tier currency was a very good idea, but in the end I just do not think that they should have been used to dictate the prices of other items. And unfortunately, the one problem we have now without buds is not having an official high tier currency. And I wish I could snap my fingers and have buds be worth a lot again, but that just isn't gonna happen. And I know it sucks for the highest of tier traders trying to count out hundreds of keys to add to a trade, but fortunately that is a very minority of traders. I bet 99% of people watching has never had to do that, so I really don't think that that is a problem for the masses. I do think it's important to keep in mind here that Australiums, Max's Heads, and Golden Pans consistently sell for pure and can easily be used instead of earbuds. Heck, you could even use cats if you really wanted to. Any expensive item that can consistently sell for pure keys works just fine. The one big problem I have with the fall of the buds is actually the reaction it got from the community, and quite honestly, that was the reason I wanted to make this video. When buds fell in value, I saw a lot of videos and posts online that really just called this the quote end of TF2 trading. And since then, it seems like the stereotype about the TF2 economy is that it is somehow cancerous and impossible to make profit in. And that's really sad, because this is a huge misconception, and it seems to have spread like the bubonic plague. The fall of buds never really made the economy any harder or easier to trade in. In fact, it just improved the biggest problem I had with how high-tier trading works. Yet, since that event, many people have left or become inactive, and honestly, I think that they're leaving for the wrong reasons. This really just comes down to people resisting change. And again, I really think that that's sad. If there's anything I hate more than anything else, it's when I see people commenting below on my videos with something like, "The economy sucks, mate. Buds are worth 2 keys now, you can't even trade anymore." And these kind of responses just show the blatant ignorance of people to adapt to change. I mean, I bet these people who've commented this haven't even tried unusual trading without buds as a currency. Honestly, I hardly noticed a change. Basically now it's just control finding all earbuds and replacing them with keys. Really not much harder. Anyway guys, this video has really just been my thoughts and opinions on the earbuds, and I hope you guys learned a little thing about them. Maybe I changed your mind about something that would be pretty cool if I did. But yeah, that was basically why I decided to make the video, and I hope you guys all enjoyed. I do want to hear your guys' opinion on the fall of buds. Do you think it was a good thing or a bad thing? Were you back then when it happened? I would definitely be interested to hear what you guys think, so leave a comment below what your thoughts on the fall of the buds are. But alas, you guys, I know you guys all commented below in the last video for the giveaway, so I will announce the winners here. I just went to randomcommentpicker.com, so I hope that's pretty accurate, and it picked 3 random comments for me, and here they are right now. Congrats to the winners, and I hope you guys all enjoy the 1 key that I will be sending your way. To get them, just leave a comment down below with your Steam community URL, and I will make sure to add you and send you guys an offer. And for the rest of you guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.